Skip, are the Browns making the right decision?
Absolutely. I am not surprised by this, and I am very pleased by this. I'll say it again. I believe Johnny Manziel will be a star in the National Football League. I'll say it again. I believe Johnny Manziel should have started from the start of this season, and his team would be 7-5 right now and be positioned with him figuring it out to make the playoffs and maybe even win a playoff game for all I know. But at 7-5, with Johnny Manziel having taken all of 12 snaps all year, it would be unfair and unheard of to throw a 21-year-old rookie quarterback into the playoff chase fire at this point in the season with your playoff hopes still faintly alive and say, here, kid, clean up our recent mess and take us to the promised land. That's not how you do business in this league. It would not be fair to him or to Brian Hoyer. Brian Hoyer got this team to 7-5. He leads the National Football League in fourth-quarter comebacks, and I believe he deserves a shot to take them home if, in fact, they can pull it off. With Andrew Luck coming to town and then the Cincinnati Bengals coming to town, that would be no place for Johnny Manziel, I believe in, to have his baptism in the National Football League. You've been around this game a long time. That's no spot for a rookie with 12 NFL snaps.
It's not, but I guess my concern is this. Why do you make the change in that fourth quarter to go with Johnny Manziel?
It was almost garbage time. I mean, they were out of that game. On the road,
you know what? On the road, defense. Play your guy.
Okay,
Brian Hoyer, because what happens is this. You bring Johnny Manziel in, and he lights it up, gets down the field, scores a touchdown. Now you create dissension within your locker room.
Within your
half
fandom.
the guys are going to want Johnny Manziel back out there.
True.
And the other guys are going to want to rally behind Brian Hoyer. Now, Hoyer has to play out of his mind this week to hold on to his job.
He does.
Because now there's that dissension. Now, if he doesn't play well in the first half, the guys are going to be calling for Johnny all over again. Play your guy. If Brian Hoyer is struggling in Buffalo, playing 4 quarters, but do not open the door for dissension when you bring in Johnny Manziel, and that's exactly what's happening.
I think we're about to get a pig's line here if I'm reading it right.
No, you're not, but I will say
Fairs are only a place?
Fairs only a place where they judge pigs, yeah. But let me say
Wait, I got to credit Jeff Brown.
Jeff Brown, my boy Jeff Brown. Here's the deal. Here's the deal, though. I'm going to let Darren Woodson pass. You know, obviously, you're not healthy. You're sick, battling the bug a little bit, been sweating a little bit. Kerry tried to help you. Got some tissue.
I take care of the boys.
Order the towel for you. It's not working. You're still sweating.
You know what? He looks pretty good to me.
He looks great.
He always looks great, but that doesn't mean all his faculties in order. He's not feeling well. So we're going to let that pass, okay? But here's the deal. Here's the deal, y'all. I disagree with this decision by the Browns, but I respect it nevertheless. I believe that Johnny Manziel should have been inserted into the starting lineup. I believe that to be the case because I've lost a lot of faith in Brian Hoyer. 1 of 9 conversions in the red zone over the last 2 games, 5 interceptions over the last 2 games, 8 interceptions in the last 5 games, 47 offensive possessions, just 1 touchdown. You know, you just look at the anemic performance that he's been putting forth over the last few weeks, and you take into account the recent history of the Cleveland Browns. Have not made the playoffs since 2002, only 1 winning season since that time, around 2007, I believe, a losing season every year since then, with not even 6 victories into the season. I mean, they have been putrid, to say the least. When you consider all of those things, this notion, let's be fair and good-natured to Brian Hoyer. Oh, stop it. Yeah. I got time for all of that. You know what? You need a sports psychologist to talk to. Did you see what they were saying about this dude after they lost the game last weekend? They were talking about how he was at his locker. He was so despondent, so demoralized, so depressed. And, you know, they were worried about him. I don't need that from my quarterback. Not from my quarterback.
Okay, but time out.
Hold on, Skip. Because let me stay with Mr. Ill here, okay? Because Darren Woodson, honestly, quickly answer this question. If you are a teammate and you see a quarterback struggling like that, and then you look over at his locker stall in the aftermath of that game, and he looks that demoralized to the point where it is published that the coaches are worried about him because of his psyche, how would you feel?
Well, of course you're going to have concern. I mean, the concern is you don't want your quarterback. He's the face of your organization. He's the guy who's by far the captain and the leader of the team. You don't want him to be despondent in a situation where he doesn't carry that confidence about him. But look, when we look at this entire situation, they made a decision early on in the season to go with Brian Hoyer as their quarterback.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
They rallied behind him. They felt like, hey, we drafted Johnny Manziel, and there was a lot of people that wanted Johnny Manziel. So they stuck with the decision.
Yeah.
My problem is this. If you're going to stick with the decision that Brian Hoyer, who's gotten you to 7-5, right? He's gotten you to 7-5. Ride him out.
Yeah, but wait a minute.
And I can understand Brian Hoyer. I understand him being despondent.
I understand him being despondent and depressed. I get all of that. I also understand the fact that his lack of production has contributed mightily to that. Let's also take into account the fact that even though he's had some game-winning drives or whatever, he made a bevy of mistakes that led to those deficits. That defense in Cleveland, by and large, showed up for most of this season, and that's been their signature. Right. So when we look at it from that perspective, and then you got Josh Gordon back, I mean, you look worse with Josh Gordon up in there. I mean, come on now. And you have to take into account they have been losing. They are trying to disrupt this habit that they have developed over an annual basis. And he seems to be tagging right along with the status quo. Something different needs to happen. If this were under normal circumstances, a team is on a roller coaster or a team usually wins. Let's stick with what worked because it's worked for us in the past. I get it. But it hasn't worked for them in the past.
So are you in agreement to bring in Johnny? Should Johnny be the starter right now?
I thought Johnny should start this weekend. Let's see what he's got.